Good morning to our listeners, our viewers in St. Lucia, as well as St. Lucians watching and listening in the diaspora. We are reporting live from the Parliament of St. Lucia, that's in downtown Castries on Labrie Street, where Parliament will convene this morning. Today is Tuesday, May the 26th, 2020. And we brought our COVID-19 response report for this morning down to Parliament to coincide with this morning's proceedings. My name is Jessie Leonce, and I'm joined in, as usual, by my colleague, Mr. Carlton Cyril. A pleasant good morning, Carlton.
Merci tellement, Jessie. Bon matin, comme Jessie bien dit, vous pouvez observer, nous pas headquarters COVID là, mais nous ici en Caille Concite, côté gouvernement Caille Jeune ici, Premier ministre, cabinet de gestion parlement, Caille Jeune, que Caille discuter plusieurs matières qui nous caille aller en plus détail. Bon, moi dit bonjour pour ces gens qui avaient nous sur internet là, ces gens qui suivent nous sur Facebook, ces gens qui écoutent nous sur radio. Aujourd'hui c'est mardi, le 26 mai, et nous toujours cadeau ici un plaisir pour nous. Quand la coutume, nous amenons tout ça qui nous pour faire les affaires Covid là, et que ça c'est une autre opportunité pour nous, pour avoir information et développement quand il pour faire 20 000 Covid là.
Okay, just to give you an understanding of what will be transpiring here this morning in the Honourable House, a sitting of the House of Assembly is scheduled for today, Tuesday, May 26th, 2020, with papers to be laid by the Honourable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs and the Public Service, the Honourable Minister for Economic Development, Housing, Urban Renewal, Transport and Civil Aviation, the Honourable Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Physical Planning, Natural Resources and Cooperatives, and the Honourable Minister for Commerce, Industry, Enterprise, Development and Consumer Affairs will be forwarding the various motions as well as the papers to be laid. The following motions are down for consideration. Be it resolved that Parliament further extend for an additional period commencing from the 1st day of June 2020 and ending on the 30th day of September 2020 in accordance with Section 17(6) of the Constitution of St. Lucia, Cap 101, the Constitution of St. Lucia, extension of resolution of Parliament approving declaration of state of emergency passed as statutory instrument number 60 of 2020 that extended the state of emergency for an additional period commencing from the 27th day of April 2020 and ending on the 31st day of May 2020. Also, be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister for Finance to borrow by means of advances sums not exceeding $85 million from commercial banks for a period of 6 months from the date hereof, which sums shall be charged on and paid out of the consolidated fund. And be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister for Finance to borrow the sum of US $29 million by way of a rapid credit facility loan from the International Monetary Fund for the purpose of capital and recurrent expenditures. The loan is repayable at a 0% interest rate, inclusive of a 5.5-year grace period with a final maturity of 10 years and semi-annually through a standing authorization to the International Monetary Fund to debit St. Lucia's XDR account with the amount of all financial obligations to the International Monetary Fund for the Rapid Credit Facility loan as the financial obligations fall due. The following bill is down for consideration this morning, the Citizenship by Investment Amendment Bill. Tuesday's sitting, that is today's sitting, is scheduled to commence at 10 a.m. I believe we've seen so far just one member of Parliament come in. We are expecting the rest to come in shortly for the 10 a.m. start. A sitting of the House of Assembly is also scheduled for tomorrow, that is Wednesday, May 27th, 2020 at 10 a.m. as well. The sitting of the Senate will be meeting on Thursday. It's scheduled for Thursday, May 28th, 2020, also to start at 10 a.m. Since the onset of COVID-19, the protocol in the Honourable House, in keeping with the protocols established by the authorities for the management of the coronavirus COVID-19 crisis, and with a view to ensuring that there are established protocols, members of the public will not be allowed in the chamber gallery during these sittings. Kindly note that the public can view the live proceedings on the National Television Network, NTN, Channel 122, the Government of St. Lucia's Facebook page, and the Government of St. Lucia YouTube channel. So there you have it, the motions being tabled this morning, expected to be tabled this morning. The Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance forwarding the extension. We are in a state of emergency right now.
Right.
It will expire on May 31st. However, Parliament is convening today to get an extension on the state of emergency to be extended to the 30th of September. Also, Parliament has convened again today for the Minister of Finance to borrow by means of advances, sums not exceeding $85 million from commercial banks, as well as the Minister for Finance borrowing the sum of US $29 million by way of a rapid credit facility loan from the International Monetary Fund. So these are the matters that will be tabled in Parliament this morning. We do hope you can stay tuned for the duration of this morning's proceedings to get a clear understanding of what you can expect going forward. Carlton?
Merci tellement, Jessie. Puis là, quand nous avons d'avance, le développement qui a pris coup, nous avons côté Parlement, nous avons ici en concite. Et puis, raison pour ça, parmi l'autre bagaille, nous savent, premier pas, là, il vient pour état de secours qui est supposé venir en bout de mois. Nous avons le Premier ministre qui a acheté pour argumenter. Enfin, ça, nous avons discuté aujourd'hui, c'est que le Premier ministre a essayé, si il a argumenté, qui a commencé les 1er juin pour aller bout septembre, qui c'est les 30. Si vous avez bien suivi ce qu'a fait ici, il était supposé venir en bout de mois, ça, état de secours. Et puis là, nous avons aujourd'hui le Premier ministre qui a venu, qui a acheté pour, si il a argumenté, il a passé pour argumenter l'état de secours encore, car si ça jeune argumenté, qui a commencé le 1er juin pour aller le 30 septembre. Parmi l'autre bagaille pour discuter ici aujourd'hui en Caille-Concite, nous avons si Parlement Premier ministre, qui c'est ministre responsable pour finances, pour prêter pas plus passer 85 millions de dollars. Et puis ça c'est hard, c'est banque commerciale là, et puis ça c'est entre 6 mois. Et puis ça, ça c'est l'argent qui a allé au consolider, fonds consolider là, et puis il a dépensé là. Aussi, en l'autre considération, c'est là, il y a le Premier ministre là encore, qui est le ministre qui est responsable pour finances, qui a acheté autorité pour lui prêter en l'autre 29 millions de dollars US, ça y est, en bas, il y a un fonds, il y a rapid credit et puis faciliter ça qui a sorti hard IMF ça et puis ça c'est pour dépenser puis pour projet qui a fait en pays en parmi conditions bas loan ça nous avons ces dates qui là fini pour l'enterrer c'est 0% en parmi l'autre bagaille et puis là ça a aussi 5,5 l'année et puis il a maturité en 10 ans. L'année condition est 29 millions de dollars US hard IMF là. Encore, là, ça c'est pour obligation pays parmi l'autre bagaille. Là, il y a pour considération ici aussi. Il y en a ces papiers qui ont discuté, là, il y a un amendement qui a pris, là, il pour versement, ça c'est citoyen. CIPA, nous avons date qui l'année, il y a un amendement pour ça. Pas aujourd'hui seulement, mais nous avons ces gens Parlement qui ont vu ici mercredi aussi. Et puis, as a résultat de ça, qu'on protocole déjà établi et que nous savons dans l'état de secours, gens publics là, ils n'ont pas permis pour entrer en Caille-Concite. Et puis, ça c'est pour suivre le protocole. Et puis, l'autre bagaille là, il y a dit, c'est quand vous qui a commencé à venir, ça a fait sur NTN, et bien, channel 122, et bien on s'allait à sur page Facebook gouvernement Saint-Lucie et bien à sur YouTube. Quand tout fait qu'on informé, c'est ça qui est point court. Aujourd'hui, le Parlement supposé ici en cas de Parlement supposé commencer à 10h. Et puis, quand j'ai cité bien dit, nous avons ces gens entrés et puis nous avons espéré les autres là. Et puis, quand on va développer ici, nous avons maintenant ce développement avec beaucoup d'informations ici en cas de Merci tellement.
Thanks for that, Carlton. And there's been much talk about the extension of the state of emergency at this time. If you just looking quickly, glimpsing at the live on Facebook, many persons are speaking about it. And we just want to let you know that the extension for the state of emergency, we are aware, and as we have been talking about from the Information Command Center for our COVID-19 response, there still lies great uncertainty as it pertains to COVID-19 in St. Lucia. We have made a significant stride in terms of containing, managing this virus on island. However, we have to prepare for any eventuality, especially as we reopen our borders, doing so with very many stringent protocols. However, we need to be prepared for any resurgence. We need to be prepared to revert to previous phases in our management of COVID-19 on island. And the extension of the state of emergency really reflects that, the ability of government to react in a snap should we have any issues, any resurgence of COVID-19 here on island.
And of course, Jesse, what is more important with this is we are moving into phase 5 of the proposed reopening.
Phase 4, June 1st, the first
June
week.
1st, yeah, phase 4, and of course taking into consideration phase 5, and one has to ask what has to be done, and we are still, in the case of COVID, still working on a cure, on a vaccine. And I mean, needless to say that we have 100% recovery rate, but of course that doesn't mean we are out of the woods. So of course a lot of what that has to happen and has to be put in place, Jesse, has to be taken into considerations. And by no means we have to remember when it comes to financing and when it comes to the predicament as a result of COVID, where we are, you would understand that definitely the government has its work well cut out for it.
And we've had a significant reduction in our income, what is coming into the country, and so measures need to be taken to ensure that we can continue to meet our obligations at this time. If you're just joining us, a special good morning to you, our persons watching from St. Lucia. If you're watching on air, online, we'd like to welcome you. We do hope you stay for the duration of this morning's parliamentary proceedings. Now, this morning, the sitting of the House of Assembly is scheduled for 10 a.m. and we're talking to you. We're coming to you live from Parliament. And this morning, the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance will be forwarding a motion to extend for an additional period commencing from the first day of June 2020 and ending on the 30th of September, the extension of the state of emergency here in St. Lucia. We are due for our first break for the morning. When we come back, we take a look at the latest developments, and chief among them being the government of St. Lucia rolling out its income support for non-NIC contributors. We do hope you stay tuned for that and more, coming up in just a moment.
Coronavirus? I am worried, Gassa. It's only old people dying from that.
Hold up. Being young does not mean being safe. Yes, it's true that the elderly are at higher risk, but anyone can get the virus. The effect is even worse if you have a chronic condition like hypertension, heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes, or weakness in your immune system. If you are living with these conditions, be extra careful. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol when hand washing is not possible. Avoid touching your face. Take steps to boost your immunity through proper nutrition, exercise, rest, and take your medication as prescribed. Limit being around people who have flu symptoms, even close family members. Our health is in our hands. Together, through simple actions, we can stop the spread of coronavirus. This message was brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. The government of St. Lucia continues to provide relief for citizens who have been adversely affected due to the COVID-19 pandemic. An income support program for non-NIC contributors has been implemented and will be managed by the Ministries of Finance and Tourism collaboratively. Prime Minister the Honorable Alan Chasney Prime Minister the Honorable Alan Chasney had announced in the Social Stabilization Plan the provisions for helping those who have lost their means of earning a living because of the COVID-19 crisis but are not registered contributors to the National Insurance Fund. We've seen the rollout of the ERP, the Economic Relief Program, with the NIC, and now the government will be fulfilling its promise for non-NIC contributors. We have a video to show how this will be rolled out.
As part of government's social stabilization plan to assist persons who have lost their means of earning due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the government of St. Lucia has implemented the Income Support Program, where non-contributors to the NIC shall receive a monthly payment of $500 for the next 3 months. Taxi drivers, jet ski operators, vendors, agro-processors, tour guides, hairdressers, barbers, small bar and restaurant operators, construction workers, and other sole traders who meet the criteria can apply using the Government of St. Lucia's website www.govt.lc. Payments will be made directly via electronic transfer to the recipient's bank account. The Income Support Program, simple strides towards recovery.
As mentioned earlier, this income support program for non-NIC contributors will be managed by the Ministries of Finance and Tourism collaboratively. However, the Ministry of Tourism will be the executing agency for the program and responsible for receiving applications, reviewing and verifying applications, and presenting the approved list to the NIC for processing and payment. And this initiative is part of ongoing efforts by the government to assist affected St. Lucians at this time. The government of St. Lucia has also launched the National Feeding Program and is providing tax incentives for businesses that continue to function and keep employees during this crisis. As the official start of the Atlantic hurricane season, Carlton, fast approaches, we've seen June 1st, the hurricane season will be on, and we'll be having to deal with a compounded situation of COVID-19 response and the hurricane season. We also have the drought situation ongoing. But for hurricane right now, the National Emergency Management Organization is finalizing new protocols due to COVID-19. We have a report from Anicia Antoine.
With the hurricane season fast approaching, the public is being urged to be in a state of constant preparedness. Officials from the Meteorological Services and the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, recently appeared on the national television network NTN, where they disclosed that the hurricane season every year is forecast to be more active with more intense hurricanes than the previous. Director of the Meteorological Services, Andre Joyeux, explained that evidence indicates more severe droughts and hurricanes for the Atlantic region going forward.
All the scientific evidence is pointing to that. We have a number of institutions that give us the predictions for the year, and it's not encouraging. We have institutions like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. They just put out the 2020 predictions. They did that on the 21st, and they're going for, it's a range that they're going for. It's between 13 and 19 named storms, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 6 major hurricanes. Now, I should say that the average for the year is 12 named storms, 6 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. Okay. So everything would be stepped up.
Director of NEMO, Doreen Gustav, said with the country already battling the COVID-19 pandemic, its resources are stretched thin, therefore the public should not let its guard down. The director noted that preparations for the hurricane season had long commenced, including training and strengthening district disaster committees. However, with the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, new protocols had to be drawn up so as to adhere to the protocols stipulated by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
We are discussing shelters, so they have started looking at the inspection of shelters. We've done more than 50% of that. And we have to take into consideration COVID-19 and shelters, whereas a shelter would be able to accommodate, let's say, 100 persons. Taking into consideration social distancing, we had to look at more than one shelter per community.
Okay.
So we are looking at maybe private shelters. This is what we are thinking. There is a need for that in order to accommodate based on the impact. And so we had to put protocols in place. We just completed protocols for shelters. Ministry of Education was on board, Ministry of Health was on board, the Shelters Committee was on board, NEMO, and we discussed, what is needed. And it's going to take a huge amount from our finances that we already have depleted.
NEMO has also commenced engagement with the public service so as to implement business continuity plans in case of an emergency as realized with COVID-19. A training workshop will be held through the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, on the 4th of June so as to address situational awareness geared towards all relevant stakeholders. NEMO has also gotten approval from the World Bank to procure equipment for the Emergency Operational Center aimed at improving communication, including getting more reliable networks, obtaining and installing VHF radios on the island, and distributing handheld radios at strategic locations, as well as procuring research and rescue drones. From the Government Information Service, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
COVID-19 has taught us many lessons for disaster preparedness and disaster risk financing. And that is the word from the Deputy Director for Financial Administration in the Department of Finance, as the government strategizes for greater financial stability in the event of a natural disaster during the upcoming hurricane season. We continue with the hurricane season coverage with a Glenn Simon report.
Though the health and economic impact of COVID-19 has dominated discussions on mainstream and social media, the government of St. Lucia has been planning for the upcoming hurricane season, which officially commences on June 1st. Government, under its disaster risk financing policy, has increased St. Lucia's coverage with the Caribbean Catastrophic Risk Insurance Facility, CRIF. Deputy Director of Financial Administration in the Department of Finance, Matthew Branford, said government has ensured its disaster risk policy has been updated in keeping with a projected active hurricane season.
We've actually increased our coverage because based on the various models for this year, they have increased intensity for the hurricane season. And so we have actually been very cautious and have expanded our coverage. So we've actually transferred more risks to CRIF, so that it can alleviate any fiscal pressures in the initial stage in the aftermath of a disaster.
Branford noted that St. Lucia has been a member of CRIF from its inception in 2007 and has participated in the many disaster risk financing products offered by CRIF, which includes tropical cyclone, excess rainfall, and earthquake policies.
In 2019, the CRIF introduced what is called COAS, and this product is specifically to assist in disaster risk financing for persons in the fisheries sector.
The Deputy Director of Financial Administration highlighted that one of the main concerns of government post the disaster is access to finance. This, he said, is one of the significant benefits of CRIF's policies.
So CRIF has actually pays out within 14 days coverage to the Caribbean countries, including St. Lucia.
and we have benefited quite a lot from being a member of CRIF in the Caribbean.
Branford added that CRIF is but one of the many disaster risk financing strategies employed by government to reduce its exposure post a disaster. He further called on citizens and the corporate sector to ensure their property and belongings ahead of the hurricane season.
It is always good that private individuals do try to secure their properties, their homes, and their personal belongings in the aftermath of disaster. Because CRIF, the policy that CRIF offers to us is more of a capital nature, restructuring, rebuilding, and so on. It's not going to be filtered in right down to the very local level and the house.
Government is also exploring risk financing, which takes into account health-related disasters such as COVID-19, including disasters which could affect vital sectors such as water and electricity. The World Bank is among other agencies providing technical assistance and financing to St. Lucia in an effort to build resilience as it relates to disaster risk management. For the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, Glenn Simon reporting.
So you got to give me them things ahead.
Thank you for that, Glenn Simon. If you're just joining us, a special good morning to you. A sitting of the House of Assembly is scheduled for Tuesday, May 26th, 2020. That is today, with papers to be laid by the Honourable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, as well as the Honourable Minister for Economic Development, Housing, Urban Renewal, Transport and Civil Aviation, and the Honourable Minister for Agriculture, Physical Planning, Natural Resources and Cooperatives, and the Honourable Minister for Commerce, Industry, Enterprise Development and Consumer Affairs. If you're just joining us, the motions that are down for consideration for this morning's proceedings, be it resolved that Parliament further extend for an additional period the state of emergency commencing from the first day of June 2020, ending on the 30th of September. And the Parliament also be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister for Finance to borrow by means of advance sums not exceeding $85 million from commercial banks. And also, Parliament be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister for Finance to borrow the sum of US $29 million by way of a rapid credit facility loan from the International Monetary Fund. So this will be the business of the House of Assembly, the House of Representatives this morning. Again, we do hope you stay tuned for this proceeding scheduled to begin at 10 a.m. Carlton.
Encore merci pour vous qui avez NTN et puis nous pouvez suivre nous sur Facebook et écouter nous sur radio. On Jesse bien dit nous ca mener rapport nous aujourd'hui à hot kai concite parmi bagaille nous a discuté c'est permission premier ministre là caché pour l'argent qui a prêté pour qu'ils savent il y a ces problèmes as a résultat du Covid parmi l'autre bagaille c'est date qui touristes quand un secteur déjà fermé qu'on a pays a brisé l'argent yon manière et bien l'autre et puis là il vient pour activité économique en pays a il a trouvé quoi affecté quand a parmi bagaille premier ministre là qui fait aujourd'hui comme ministre des finances c'est pour venir une permission pour parmi l'autre bagaille prêter pas plus passer 85 millions de dollars et puis parmi c'est l'argent ça au cas ça vendant en l'autre cas 29 millions de dollars US ça y est et puis l'année condition ça a sorti hot IMF parmi ces conditions nous caille le terrain là c'est 0% l'autre bagaille là c'est caille tout fait quoi dans 5 l'année et demie et tout fait quoi maturité en 10 ans excusez-moi parmi l'autre bagaille l'argent ça aller pour projet et puis parmi l'autre bagaille en pays mais avant ça faites messieurs dames ou caillou bon matin qu'on nous maintenant rapport qu'on l'habitude headquarters COVID-19 parmi l'autre bagaille nous ca rapporter ici out caillou une vidéo qui jouait et puis ça c'est pour ces gens qui te trouvé quoi yo affecté as a résultat du COVID-19 parmi bagaille ou était en plan premier ministre là pour mener pays à vie stable monde qui trouvé quoi yo affecté pas simplement qu'à joindre aide hod NIC mais gouvernement a dit yo kay bay ces gens qui pas capé NIC mais on est pour faire application c'est monde ça qui a une assistance aussi mais là ni condition ces conditions parmi l'autre bagaille ou kay pour registrer PNIC l'autre bagaille là aussi c'est that qui des ministries qui responsable qui une responsabilité pour ça office premier ministre là office qui c'est ministre responsable pour finance et puis nous avons office tourisme qui est responsable pour les affaires touristes en pays de ces places ça qui est responsable des ministres ça qui est responsable pour les venir moun qui pas registré PNIC qui a besoin assistance yon bagay ou supposé savoir aussi les vini pour ministre tourisme ministry ça c'est yo qui kay amasser toutes ces applications yo kay process et puis yo kay voyer by NIC quoi encore ça c'est en bas package premier ministre les vini pour vier mener nation stable plan premier ministre pour assister en parmi l'autre bagay. L'autre nouvelle nous encore avec développement nous kabou ici à bon matin c'est là venu pour saison cyclone hurricane ça y est au kaywe date qui Nimo ja adressé situation pour dire ça c'est une saison qui est plus active gouvernement moi kay bien d'accord là venu pour qualité chaleur nous 7 jours ça pas en blague ça qui kay aller mais raison qui Nimo ja vient adresser situation parce que dans situation Covid ou kaywe en chay bagay kay pour mettre en place as a résultat du protocole par exemple moun ka pawe be moun ka acheter soukou là vinn pour temps mauvais temps qui manière moun kay vinn ensemble la hani protocole qui est établi pour moun chain distance social là la hani protocole qui est établi pour combien moun nous ça mettre en place parmi l'autre bagay et au kaywe directeur Nimo aussi parler à sous plan pour parler ba c'est place business là qui ça qui yo kay fait qui manière yo kay agir en parmi l'autre bagaille quoi monsieur dame kay ouais tout ça qu'a fait dans temps pas du temps nous ni Covid nous qu'a parler du temps cyclone là et pas oublier à même là nous n'y a état de secours côté glo c'est aussi un problème ici quand nous qu'a quoi pas du temps nous aller affaire Covid là et pas du temps nous avec développement dedans ou même kay comprendre qui ça qui aller ou était ici et puis nous kay continuer au développement avec information qu'on ni pour faire puis Covid et quand nous bien d'eau nous kay espérer parlement kay commencer à 10h si je veux et puis depuis commencer nous kay maintenant tout développement avec information qu'on a fait aujourd'hui mardi le 26 en kay conseil.
Thanks for that, Carlton. We are due for another break. When we come back, the Make It Happen Foundation continues to champion the cause of frontline workers, and also the St. Lucia Blind Welfare Association responds to COVID-19 by ensuring that it takes measures to protect its members during this crisis. Do stay tuned for that and more in our COVID-19 response report.
Coronavirus, but children are safe, no?
Hold up. Children are actually more likely to touch all kinds of surfaces, put their hands on their mouths and their eyes, or sneeze and cough with little thought about hygiene when around others. While children have been seen to recover well from this virus, they can easily spread it to those more at risk, like the elderly or ill persons who have a weaker immune system. Teach the little ones in your care to be little powerhouses of infection prevention. Keep reminding them, wash your hands. Cover your mouth with tissue or your inner elbow when you sneeze and cough. And be sure to praise them when you see them taking these precautions. Our health is in our hands. Together, through simple actions, we can stop the spread of coronavirus. This message was brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. St. Lucia continues to record no additional confirmed cases of COVID-19. We had a last set of testing that was done, our last press release stating that on May 22nd, 2020, a batch of 31 tests conducted were all negative. And this brings the total number of national testing to date to 898 tests. Saturday, March 21st, and we're coming to Sunday, Monday, today, Tuesday. Tuesday, May 26th, is the 20th consecutive day we have recorded a confirmed case. So it is now the 23rd consecutive day that we've since recorded a confirmed case of COVID-19. Just want to give you a quick update. The weekend of May 23rd, that's this past weekend, the Department of Health and Wellness received 151 St. Lucians, and they were repatriated from the cruise ships and from Canada and Barbados. 59 are cruise ship workers from the Disney Fantasy, 73 from the Royal Vision of the Seas, and 19 are nationals that have been repatriated from Canada and Barbados. And these nationals have been placed into quarantine for a period of 14 days as per the country's established protocol. This morning we continue with the news. The St. Lucia Blind Welfare Association has been hard hit by the challenges of COVID-19. However, this organization, like many others, is ensuring that its members are not duly affected. We have more in this report.
In the current situation of the global health crisis due to COVID-19, the operations of non-governmental organizations such as the St. Lucia Blind Welfare Association have been significantly impacted. Anthony Averill, Executive Director of the St. Lucia Blind Welfare Association, spoke on some of the difficulties being faced by the association during this period.
The two main streams of revenue for the St. Lucia Blind Welfare Association, one depends on funds received for projects, through grants, donations, and technical support for the various things that we are doing. Whether it comes from government, from funding agencies, from the corporate communities, from individuals. These are the way that monies come into the St. Lucia Blind Welfare Association. And the second stream to that is through the eye clinic, which generate some as well. The island was thrown into emergency mode around the middle of March. And that certainly stopped everything. People are not working, they are not in a position to donate. And what has happened is that the COVID-19 has not only attacked St. Lucia, COVID-19 has declared war on the world.
An effort to bring comfort and meet the needs of the more vulnerable members, the association has been reaching out to their members using the Mapping Project to assist their needs during this period. The Mapping Project entails a database of the blind and low-visioned individuals, including their name and address, their skills, and their needs. Rosemary Compton, Outreach Officer at the St. Lucia Blind Welfare Association, gave insights as to the condition of the members of the association.
I would like to say that it's really an interesting time and a challenging time for a lot of our clients as I reach out to them. Well, it's not possible to go into their homes, in one cases maybe, and from a distance, but then most of the persons I've been in contact with are through the telephone. And they are very responsive and they would express their needs. Of course, a lot of them, they are not able to meet their basic needs, and especially at a time like this when people could not have moved around and so on, that they found it a little challenging. And that's why we were happy when we got some assistance from the Red Cross through NEMO to give some care packages to some of our clients. And then prior to that, there were clients that we were not really aware of, but because of this emphasis on mapping and reaching people around the island, we were able to reach out to more people and to know what their needs are and so on.
As of April 31st, 2020, approximately 225 blind and low-visioned individuals have been registered with the Mapping Project. From the Government Information Service, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
St. Lucia's nurses have received support from the Make It Happen Foundation. The Make It Happen Foundation has been the latest organization to champion the cause of frontline workers by making a donation. The substantial financial contribution to the St. Lucia Nurses Association stems from the proceeds of the sold-out all-pink International Women's Day event, Tea and Testimony, which was held on the 8th of March 2020. In a handing over ceremony on Thursday, 21st May 2020, a check of $22,500 was officially presented to the president of the St. Lucia Nurses Association, Ms. Alicia Baptiste, by the Make It Happen founder, Mrs. Raquel Duboulay-Chasney. Well, that wraps up the latest developments as of today in terms of our response to COVID-19. On behalf of the team here, we are standing by for the proceedings of Parliament to commence. It's scheduled for 10 a.m., but we can already foresee a late start. So we do hope you stay tuned as we stand by for the commencement of the parliamentary proceedings. We take you back to a studio at this time.